in lockdown at the moment. If no one's aware, we are. How? I guess firstly, we don't know how long it's been extended for. I believe they're talking about it today. I'm not sure. I don't know. But let's say it's extended probably until May. So that's about a month-ish, or 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks at the minimum. Once we come out of lockdown, I mean, I think firstly, the longer the lockdown lasts, the bigger the impact will be on the economy. That's obvious. But James, my question for you is, I don't know if you heard the news recently, but there was the OBR, I don't know what that stands for, some British thing, government said there could be a 30% drop in the economy. I think it was it GDP? I'm not sure, but in the economy, they said, after this lockdown. Now, 30% is huge. I think after 2008, it was like 4%. I think the last time it was 30% was the 17th century. So, like, it's basically never happened. Like, do you think that it could be that dramatic if we come out of lockdown in a few weeks? And then, because you've kind of lived through a recession with more cognition than me, because I was a kid then. You obviously 40, I think, in the recession. So, you know, how
you're terrible, man. You're terrible.
What are your thoughts on everything I just said?
You're proper ageist, don't you? Taking me.
You have wisdom. That's why we're doing this. You have wisdom.
You know what? I have stopped listening to the news because every time I hear the damn news, all I hear is this is going to happen. The world's ending. Another 700 people have died. You know, all these businesses are going to go under. Another clothing brand's gone under. So I've decided I ain't listening to the news no more because all I'm hearing is negative shit coming in. So I'll stop listening to it. The next thing I've done is I thought, you know what? When I do need to hear what the highlights are, I'm just going to every evening just put it on for a couple of minutes just to see what's going on. But I think there's a lot of scaremongering going on. Yeah, I think a lot of people are shitting themselves. Mm-hmm. I personally feel that this whole lockdown, I don't think we're going to be out of our houses till about June. I feel personally.
Lord. Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking when this first started, I thought, you know what, this is just a little 4-week holiday. We'll be back before we know it. It's going to be nice. We'll be refreshed. But as time goes on, I'm starting to think, no, this is going to go on a little bit longer, and it's a little bit more serious than people are making out to be. You know, I was there thinking, this is all a little bit of a story. Someone's made this virus up like everybody else does. But listen, off the back of that, I told you, didn't I, the other day when my friend rang me and he said his dad died from it. And you know, when you know someone firsthand and you're thinking, no, this shit's real. And then my wife was telling me that a family she knows where she used to live in West, the whole family's got it, and one of the daughters was on a ventilator. She recovered from that, but they're on lockdown in their house, and this is someone she grew up with, went to school with. So I'm thinking maybe this shit is a little bit more serious than people are making it out to be. And to be honest with you, other than going out for a run in the morning, I ain't going nowhere, mate. I'm getting some food and I'm not risking my kids going out either, because I think to myself, you know what, I couldn't live with myself if one of them contracted something and being on their own in the hospital and all that nonsense. I'd rather than just be in the house playing, you know, shitloads of Xbox or whatever they're doing, gaming. Carry on, enjoy this time, because you ain't never getting it again. But you ain't going out if it's risky. In terms of your question, do I think it's going to be that bad? I don't think it's going to be that bad. No, I think there's a lot of scaremongering going on. Like I said, people are really starting to get scared, and I think it's down to each and every one of us how much of this negativity you're going to consume. You know, it's what you're going to tell your mind and what you're going to believe in it at the end of the day. So I would say take it with a pinch of salt. Yes, maybe hold back on things you were doing, maybe regroup, maybe rethink, maybe do all those tasks that you haven't done. You know, like I'm sure people's accounts are due at the moment. That's a task you could do. We always leave that to the end minute. Do all that boring shit that needs to be done, but don't take your eye off the ball. If your strategy is sourcing deals, carry on sourcing, carry on looking at the market. If you're buying, if you're flipping, carry on looking, but don't let what the government's telling you shit you up, because 9 times out of 10, they're lying to us anyway.
Yeah, 100. I'd say 10 times out of 10 they're lying to ourselves and themselves. I think like I totally agree with the news. I think I keep an eye on the economical news because I've got not much else to do, to be frank. But like I think there's definitely going to be dip or a kind of drop in of course there has to be an economic output in the economy in general, in how people are behaving and how people's like going out habits. Are restaurants going to be the same for the next few months? Are people going to want to sit, there's lots of like human factors which will affect the economy, and therefore if they affect the economy and they're human, they affect us and we affect it. It's one big circle. So I think there will be, like, when it comes to property, which is the most important thing for this chat, I actually just have no clue if prices are going to go down because the economic activity is going down, or they're going to go up because everyone's been locked at home. And so I honestly have no idea what's happening, but I am, like you said, I'm still looking at deals, I'm still analyzing. But I think for me, some of the biggest changes are, I had a deal brought to me that I didn't take. And mainly because the end comparables were not easy, but I know the area. So if we were out of coronavirus, 90% chance I'll be buying that deal right now. But because the end values weren't as what I wanted, and because of corona, and because of, if I took a 10% on my conservative already dropped end value, it's fucked. So I was just like, actually, this is not good enough for it to make sense. Whereas the house that you got funding for me, I'm buying it for 28 grand plus the freehold. I'm buying it incredibly BMV. That's the kind of thing where I could, I wouldn't pull out, no way, I wouldn't pull out full stop, but that's the kind of thing I could. So I think like I'm looking at deals, but am I going to go ahead with them? I don't know. It's very difficult to get investor finance right now because people are shitting themselves, and it's difficult to get bridging because, well, they're basically closed. Some are open, but you're looking at, 15 to 30% sometimes on the money to them, plus fees, plus blah, ridiculous, which is fine. If you need to buy, you need to buy. I think one of the biggest things I'm doing, which for me is huge, is I'm not giving any pre-auction offers. I'm waiting, and I'm going to maybe get some post-auction offers in a few weeks, which for me is very difficult to sit on my hands because I'm like, I want to submit, but I'm not, because it's just too uncertain at the moment. And luckily the auction's in 3 weeks, and I know that there's going to be some unsold lots, and we can see what happens. I think what a lot of people message me on Instagram, probably the same for you, is that, should I buy property now? So what's your answer to that? I know there's no straightforward answer, but what would you say when someone asks us that?
You know what? Would I carry on buying right now? Yes, I will. I'm going to carry on buying. If the right deal comes along, I will still buy it. If the numbers stack, yes, I'm still going to buy it. I feel, like you say, there might be a slight dip. There might be a slight bit of an issue with getting rooms rented once we're out of all of this. But I think gradually it's gonna get back to normal. But if you're new to this game, maybe you might want to hold off. Maybe if you haven't been through a recession before where you've seen things dip, or you haven't actually been through the process of buying a house or buying your first investment property, maybe you might just want to hold back a little bit and sit back. Because let's face it, it's not going to get, if you've seen a house today for £100,000, it's not going to get any more expensive tomorrow, is it? If anything, it's going to get possibly a little bit cheaper if the market takes a dip. But if you're a seasoned investor and you've been investing for a while and you know your model, you know your strategy, I think the people on this chat that do that, they're going to carry on going. I think if it's the first time you're going into a strategy, my advice maybe would be take a step back and just consume what's going on. I think you're quite lucky to go through a recession in the sense that you can see when shit hits the fan. You could flip this on a positive note, that it's probably quite a nice thing to go through. So, well, not a nice thing to be locked up in your house, but a nice thing to go through financially and see what's happening to the market, so you can assess it if you ever go through this again. I remember in 2008, we didn't really, the area that we live in and the area that we were investing in, we didn't really see much of a change. If anything, probate, we were getting deals on probate properties. And I always find with probates, it's always some cousin or brother or kid trying to sell the property, and all they want is the money. They've got the wrong financial education. They just think, I can get 300 grand out of my aunt's house. I'm going to buy a Lambo. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be sorted. And before you know it, they've pissed the money up the wall, and they're no better off. So my advice, if you're a seasoned investor, like a few of us, if you've got a good strategy, carry on going. Why wouldn't you? Why would you stop? You know,
Yeah.
if you're new, maybe take a step back and consume all this and just ride the reception and see what happens. And